More than 500,000 people in the world are struggling with scoliosis, and most of them don't know about it. But have you ever wondered how you can fix your scoliosis?
Health alert after a model died just days after visiting the chiropractor. The autopsy showed that social media sensation Katie May's death was caused by a neck adjustment.
May's career was just really taking off. In fact, she was on a photo shoot when she hurt her neck, and now we're learning treatment for that injury ended up costing her her life.
Her neck was tight, so she went to a chiropractor. Now her family wonders if she'll ever walk again.
The answer is definitely not chiropractic or adjustment. In this video, I'm going to explain how you can check if you have a scoliosis and what are the signs of a scoliosis and how you can treat it in different age without hurting yourself or even paralyzing your body, and also how fast you can get the results. And at the end, I'm going to give you some tips on how to sit, stand, even sleep to have a better posture, and also give the emergency signs that you need to see a doctor as soon as possible. But before we get started, I have got asked a lot if scoliosis or any physical problem can be treated by chiropractic.
Are you kidding me?
And the answer is no.
What the hell are you talking about?
I mean, mostly no. The reason is that the human skeleton and body controlled by muscles. If you make any sudden movement or adjustment, you might feel better for a minute or two, but muscle imbalance will pull your spine or bone to a side again, and the other side will get stretched, and then you will get back to the first square. But if you make some changes to the muscles, then the body will automatically correct itself.
That is correct.
Now let's get started. A long time ago, a friend of mine called me and asked me if I could take a look at his kid picture because he found something interesting. He told me that his kid has uneven shoulder, which is quite popular among kids, but he was confused about what might happen to him. Then I saw the picture and the kid was with a t-shirt, and I saw that the shoulder is uneven, and I said, yep, that's correct. But what happened? And he said, yeah, you know, he carries his school bag always on one side, and I think that is the reason. And I said, yep, that could be a great reason. But did you check his shoulder blades? And then, yeah, he didn't. So I asked him to check that as well, and a few days later, he got back to me and said, it is funny, his shoulder blades are asymmetrical. So I got a bit suspicious. So I asked again, how about his hip? And again, I waited for a few days.
A few days?
And then he got back to me and said, surprisingly, his hip also is uneven. Then I had to tell him the truth. And yes, I did.
I actually did it.
I told him that your kid might have scoliosis. He had this S-shaped curve on the spine, and then I explained why he might have scoliosis. The signs of scoliosis are uneven shoulder, asymmetrical shoulder blades, tilting hips, and he had them all. Also, in some cases, you might see uneven leg lengths, leaning to one side, and also clothes may not hang properly, with one side of a shirt or blouse appearing longer than the other. Back pain is another issue, and also the respiratory issues lead to breathing difficulty. Then he visited me a week later, and I did a simple test that you can do it at home as well. Adam's forward bend test. Here's how to do it. Stand with your feet together and arms hanging down. Bend forward at the waist, keep your leg straight and reaching your hands toward the floor. Have someone look at your back from behind while you are bending over, or you can record yourself as well. They can check for any signs of curving, such as uneven rib cage or shoulders. So then he asked me how fast my son can get the result and get better, and he was considering waiting a bit so he can grow a bit more and then do some therapy for him. So I explained to him, if he becomes an adult around 30 years old and above, we should focus just on pain management and improve quality of life, and focus on just controlling the damage and make sure he has no pain and he cannot do any operation. We are not looking for any improvement in this level. If we wait until he became a young adult around 18 to 30 years, Physical therapy may lead to some improvement in pain and function of the spine over several months. The speed of changes might be really slow and he needs lots of therapy sessions. He has a possibility of doing operation which can provide immediate relief in some cases, but recovery and rehab process may take several months and even some years. But if we do the therapy at the age he's in, between 4 to 18 years, he was 11 at that time, we can improve his condition by some therapy, and also bracing might help as well. The duration of the therapy might be vary, but he would be pain-free soon, and also he can make changes in his spine way sooner compared to the older version of him. He has the possibility of doing surgery if his condition gets worse, and recovery process after the operation will be faster as well. Then he asked me one interesting question. If I knew that he has scoliosis sooner, would it be better to bring him for therapy sooner? And the answer was yes. In very young children, before the age of 4 and 5 years, the scoliosis might improve without treatment and with some simple bracing, and also they can use casting for having more effect on the spine. In a worst case scenario, doing early intervention can lead to faster and safer result. So the sooner you start your physical therapy, the better it is and the faster you might get the results. So after talking about this, we said goodbye and hang up the phone.
Hello?
Yes, it was him again, and asking me how he can treat his kid at home and how his physical therapy looks like. I started to explain what he needs to do, and here I'm explaining to you as well. If your kid between the age of 1 to 3 has a scoliosis, the most important part is monitoring him or her closely by a physical therapist or pediatrician or orthopedic specialist for any change and improvement as the child grows. And then, in more severe cases, bracing and casting will be useful to guide the spine and correct the curve in the growing process. There is no physical therapy for infants. If you have a child or a young kid between the age of 4 to 18 years, again, monitoring is one of the most important steps. Then bracing can be useful in moderate scoliosis, and the duration of that might be vary. Physical therapy and scoliosis specific exercises are very important in this age and can help to improve the condition very fast, and it can have a lasting effect. In severe cases, surgery may be considered. But for the young adults between the age of 18 to 30 years, physical therapy and pain management technique can help a lot, and also strengthening the core muscle in the right way can be really helpful. For individuals with severe pain and symptoms, surgical correction on the spine might be a choice. And after 30 years, focusing on physical therapy, pain management, and lifestyle modification are very important. You have to accept the fact that it might be difficult to change your spine condition, but you can correct your bad habits, and by strengthening the core muscles and increase the mobility of your spine, you can help yourself to get better and deal with the scoliosis, and also you can consider the surgical option, but you should know that it might cause you a bit more discomfort in long run, and you need a lot of recovery and rehabilitation time. So everything I told you is useless because there are still 3 things you haven't fixed, and everything I just told you won't work unless you do these 3 things. We spend 1/3 of our lives sleeping and the rest standing and sitting. But the question is, how do you stand, sit, and even sleep properly when you have scoliosis? For standing, try to lean to the side that you have a lower shoulder level. In this case, you will stretch the side which is stronger, so in long term will help your spine to be more straight. For sitting, it's better to use your hand and elbow somewhere, and again lean to the side that you have a lower shoulder level. Do not exaggerate the movement, but slowly lean to the side to improve the spine condition. And the most important one for sleeping, try to sleep on the side that you have a bump. And please put a pillow between your knees to make sure your hip is in one line and there is not much pressure on your hip. And at the end, you should always be aware of emergency signs. If you have these signs, please check with the doctor as soon as possible. You might need proper checkup. The first sign is severe back pain. If scoliosis is causing severe persistent back pain, may indicate a more advanced or rapidly progressing curves. The second one is breathing difficulty. If you have experienced difficulty in breathing or noticed changes in your lung function, this is especially important if you are also experiencing chest pain or discomfort. The third one is a visible rib hump. If you or someone else notices a rib hump when you're bending forward. The fifth one is rapid progression. If you have been monitoring scoliosis and you notice a sudden and significant change in your curves of your spine. The sixth one and the last one is a numbness on the legs and loss of sensation on your lower part of the body. But the good thing is, if you do this 5 easy back exercise routine for beginner here, you will never have pain on your back for the rest of your life.